What's up, YouTube? Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video. It's Wednesday. Hope everybody's had a good week out there. It's half over. Um, Everyone, if you're watching and you attended the National, hope you had a wonderful time. Got pickups that you enjoy and are settling back in. Because I'm sure that was one hell of a week. I know I've talked to a few members of our group, and they said they had a really good time, but that they were very exhausted. So tonight, I want to go over some things and discuss some things that again has been shed light upon, and I apologize. I don't get on to do a lot of videos anymore. There's several reasons why. Some of them you guys would probably understand. Some of them I know you guys would also, those have been around, would probably tell me to not worry about it and just do my thing. But anyway, one reason that I don't get on and do a lot of whether you want to call it opinion talk or discussions or that sort of thing, is there's always this perception that, and don't get me wrong, probably over 90% of my content is regarding SGC. But there's this perception that since we do group submitter, we're a group submitter for them, that I'm biased, or I'm just saying it because whether we want more people to send cards to us or whatever the hell the case may be. And I want to clarify that isn't the full spectrum of why I get on and talk about SGC. Let's be honest. You guys know that I would prefer to speak on something that I have knowledge on rather than just throw out speculative, garbage. It's fun to speculate here and there. It's fun to speculate on a player. It's fun to speculate on what you think the future of sports cards is. There's several things that is fun to speculate on. But why would I sit here and talk about how PSA is doing if I'm not using them, or BGS or CSG or HGA, whatever? If what I've been doing is working for me, and SGC is the company that I use, and I get on here to attempt to help people or answer questions or share information, wouldn't it make more sense for me to discuss the company that I've been able to build my collection with rather than, other stuff that I could possibly be wrong about? So the most recent topic has been, obviously the National ended, and there's an overflow of National recap videos being posted. And, a lot of this community, whether it be the Facebook group or the people that watch this channel, they have a high interest in SGC. So when they hear things from other people or guys that were at the National that make them wonder, or obviously they're curious about it, and it's not a good perception, then things are going to be, a lot of people message me. So there's going to be questions about it. There's going to be videos shared. There's going to be talk of it. But then there's the other side of it that's came out, whether it be from people I've spoken with that were personally at the show or other content creators that made videos on their side of SGC. And I want to talk about that a little bit tonight because there's no secret. I don't really know much about Flipping Steve. I know that Sean from our group, he watches him. He likes his content. And he was awarded, won a trip to go to the National. And I don't go on and watch all content creators. I don't have the time for it. And some stuff just doesn't interest me, and there's so many out there that it's hard to know all of them. So I had never heard of Flipping Steve. Now, Steve did a live stream, I think, what was it? It was a couple of days ago. He did a live stream, and Northeast Ohio was on there. And I was listening to Steve's live stream, and I heard what Steve resonated regarding SGC. And then I seen Neo's comments in the chat. And then, I didn't get to finish watching the whole thing, but I know he got on live with Flipping Steve. And then he done his recap video. And what was interesting about it, and I'll go ahead and share this with you guys. So this began the confusion. So here is a tweet. This is Twitter. Here's a tweet from Sports Card Investor. As we all know, love him or hate him, the guy has one of the largest channels, largest followings, largest audiences, and largest influences in sports cards. Okay? And right here, he posts personal observation. There were a lot of SGC graded slabs moving on the floor at the National. Okay, and this is coming straight from Sports Card Investor. And then in the comments, he shares this and it says a discussion related to this. And it's, this guy has a good question. What are your thoughts about the values? And this has been a non-stop topic. It's nothing new. But I think there's even more of this topic flowing now because more people are using SGC. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you go to the thread, a lot of people are saying things, well, I don't like the label. PSA has the registry, the normal stuff, right? There's some people in here that actually like SGC and feel that it's going to move. So Gary V's name was brought up over on this thread. Something about Gary V has said that he likes SGC, and the person said, well, yeah, but that's only vintage. And Gary replied, nope, I like modern SGC too. I like SGC a lot. So that is from another large influencer, Gary V himself, stating, no, he doesn't only like SGC for vintage, he likes modern as well. And then you can go down here. This guy says, I definitely felt like slabs were moving. The most next to PSA were SGC. This guy is talking about the fees and SGC's affordable, trusted, and the turnaround time, all of that. This guy says, no shock, SGC is a quality company. Sports Card Investor replies, absolutely. Most important observation of the National, very interesting. Positive comments, right? And this is on Sports Card Investor's Twitter. And then you come over here, and this was shared in our group. This is the Card Talk podcast, and it has Ryan from Card Collector 2, Tyler, who I am going to be honest, I'm not familiar with, and Lou, I'm also not too familiar with him. I have watched some things, I believe, with him in it. But if you notice, you have Card Collector 2 and then Card Flipping. So you have guys there with two different ends of the spectrum as their usernames. And this was shared because, and I haven't gotten to listen to this full thing. I've been about halfway through it, but the main section of it where they were discussing about SGC and everything, and then after that, Card Collector Ryan, he starts talking about what sport he felt was moving more, and he said he felt football was moving more. And then he made a statement that resonated with me. He said, we had a lot of football there, so maybe that is why I was noticing it selling more. You know, if you think about it, if a guy has all PSA, he's going to, work in a booth, he has all PSA slabs, he's probably not going to know if SGC was selling because dude's selling PSA. And vice versa, there's perspectives on it based on what you're focusing on. And Ryan said that. He's like, maybe other sports were doing well, but majority, we had a lot of football. I want to play a short clip here, though, from this, just so you can hear it in your own, in his own words. I'll just play a snippet of it.
Their booth was busy.
SGC is a little takeaway.
A little takeaway.
This is one of my takeaways from the show.
Talk about it.
I told Lou and Tyler beforehand, right? Is SGC slabs were moving at the show.
SGC slabs were moving.
I think they've settled in as a real player in the market.
Okay. Why I wanted to share that with you, I have watched Ryan. I don't watch every single one of his videos. And again, you can like him, hate him, whatever. But you have to give the guy some massive credit. I remember watching him back when I believe he was in like a basement or something and had like, I believe it was an Ohio State jersey on the wall, to where he got the small card shop to now where he's built a larger card shop. He's setting up in the National, traveling to major shows, doing huge trade nights. The guy has built not only a company, but he's built a brand, essentially. The Card Collector 2 brand. His, income, his financial, dependency is all on sports cards. And he's going to sit there and say, SGC slabs were moving. He says they bought SGC slabs. He said they sold SGC slabs. And that's very interesting to me because now you have Sports Card Investor saying it. You have Card Collector 2 saying it. So one would assume that the SGC presence and selling was very strong at the National. I've talked to other people and, like I said, that were at the show. They said they seen a lot of it and a lot was moving. You've seen comments where people were saying what they noticed SGC was right behind PSA. PSA may have sold more out there, so most likely obvious. But then next in line would be SGC. So it's very interesting to hear all of those takes. But then flip over to, and before I go into this, if you're new watching this, those that have been around, Neo was in our Facebook group. Neo used to get on and watch the lives. He probably still watches them, just doesn't comment or whatever. But he's no longer in our group, and he no longer comments whatever chats in the chat. The reason was, I don't mind debates. I have debated with Refractor Jones, who is in the chat. I have debated with Jmichelin. I have debated with JD, John, JD Sports Cards, I think is what his YouTube is now. He's done switched it up on me. I've debated with Sean in our group. I have debated with UNC Collector. I've debated with many people. But we've also agreed on a lot of things. Or sometimes the debates, we might see each other's opinion, or view on it. The problem occurred was that no matter what in the hell I ever said, Neo would only chat or only comment in the group if he was right. It was never a conceding point to where he wasn't right. And I just got tired of that all of the time. I don't want to always just be debating with someone. If it's going to happen, obviously. But when it's every single time, you have to cut the cord. Now, I don't know if Neo's comments are because he's blinded, like got the blinders on and only focusing on PSA. I don't know if it's he just happened to never really see SGC slabs moving. Or I don't know if it's because he has shit on SGC so many times in his videos that he does not want to press the rewind button and come back and say, my bad, I was wrong. I don't know which one it was, but there is a lot of people that have noticed they could make their slabs out of pure gold. They could have, I don't even know what they could do. I don't think there's anything they could do to where he wouldn't want to just take a shit on SGC. And I don't understand it. The dude used SGC. He was high on SGC. But then when he started his channel, it started, I don't even know what led to it. But it just became this, let's take a shot any way and any chance we can get. And it doesn't make any sense. If he's not using them, if he doesn't buy them, and if he doesn't sell them, then what the hell doesn't matter to him? I talk about who I use. He should talk about who he uses. Would make more sense, would give better advice, would give better opinion. I have told my story before of why I don't use PSA. So anyway, I'm going to share his comment so you can see. So,
I got this question a lot, or this question was up on Flipping Steve's live stream last night, and I've gotten messages and asking about it too. So, what was the deal with slabs on the show floor? What was moving? What wasn't? Were the alternative ones doing well? All that sort of stuff. So let's kind of dive into that for a couple minutes. PSA and BGS were 90. I'm going to say 90%.
90%, but then it goes to 95
of the slabs on the show floor, with the other 5% being, actually, it's probably even more than that. It's probably more like 95% PSA and BGS, with 4% SGC and 1% everybody else.
Okay, so 4% SGC, 4. And then 95% was PSA, BGS, and then 1% was everybody else, okay? So
I saw next to no HGA slabs.
next
There
to
was
no
like
HGA.
one or two tables that
And
had
that's possible. I don't see many
a
at
lot
shows either.
of HGA slabs, and then nobody had any. So it was like these two people are like this table's the HGA guy, and all their stuff was slabbed up with HGA. I'll be honest, I really didn't see their stuff moving at all. I didn't
So
see it in people's
HGA
boxes at
and
trade night. I
CSG,
know
one
Steve
moving.
actually traded for an HGA slab off a young kid, or Hertz RPA out of Limited, I think it was. It wasn't like a high-end card or anything. That was in an HGA slab, but I didn't really see any, or very little.
So we have a comment from Jmichelin that says 95% is total bullcrap. He is high off his own farts. He was at the show. I've watched many videos of people, and it was one thing I loved. If I couldn't be at the show, I found these smaller channels that literally were just walking through the show and showing cases. I watched guys showing modern. I watched guys showing vintage. I loved just seeing the cards there. So, I don't know, again, was it just, did he only go to dealers that he knew? Slab Stocks, Card Collector 2, those guys, which I know Card Collector 2 had SGC because he subs with SGC. So anyway, that was an interesting take there. I'll let you hear the rest of it.
Moving. CSG was kind of the same way. There was one, I think I saw one table that had a lot of CSG stuff, and then that was pretty much it. I didn't have any CSG cards on me. I bought my first one. I'll do a separate video on that later in the week. I actually bought it on eBay prior to the show, but it got delivered while I was gone, so I didn't have it with me till after I got back. But their stuff basically had no show floor presence in regards to being in cases, like on the show floor or at the trade nights afterwards. And those were basically second shows. I'll talk about that in a minute. SGC were in some cases. A lot of select football was in SGC slabs, like from this most recent year. From my personal perspective, there was not a lot of SGC moving that I saw. And then
So there's the key word there. From his personal perspective. His personal perspective. Now, just like, you know, the video I did about Tyler and that whole thing with the losses and all that stuff, I don't even know why you would come out, not in one video, but now his own video, claiming from his perspective. Why didn't you just say, I don't know? I don't know how SGC did. I don't know how CSG did. I don't know how HGA did. I wasn't looking for them. So therefore, I don't know how they did. Why not just give an honest answer instead of my perspective? My perspective is what I talk to you guys about because I use SGC. You know, I don't get it. You know, it's just funny to me because I talk about SGC and the positives and all of that, and it's looked upon that I'm just, you know, biased or whatever. But someone talks about them that doesn't use them or sell them or anything like that. They have a huge ass following that people are going to believe. You know, you have this guy giving his perspective. You have this guy who says something different and his financial dependency is sports cards. You have this guy that goes out making humongous deals and doing videos and has possibly the largest sports card following, saying that they did great. And then you have this one again, his perspective, they didn't move. And I'm the one that gets criticized. So, there's something that I've discussed. I've talked to JJ about it. I've told a couple other people about it. And I want to share this with you guys and anyone else out there that watches this. Gary Vee, he is a large influencer. You know, that there's no doubt about it. But the man always tries to give advice sometimes. And one thing he says often is before you dive into something, before you get into a new adventure, do your research. Do your research. He says 50 to 100 hours of research. And I think that is sound advice. Do your research. But there's one thing that Gary Vee forgets to mention when he gives that advice. He doesn't tell you where or how to do that research. You could sit down and read when you were in school, you could read your entire history book. You could read your entire science book. But when you went to school and took a math test, that research did you zero good. So, yes, do your research. But there is a lot, and I'm not just specifically pinpointing Neo. This is not just a specifically bash Neo video. This is bringing some light to some of these channels out there that have huge followings that give their perspective. And that's it. Now, I'm going to tell you again, this is not my pumping anything up. This is not me being biased. I'm going to give a shout out to a guy that messaged me that I really wished I could have met. He messaged and asked if I was at the National. And I have not heard too many people mention his name. You know, talked about meeting him or anything. There might have been some, and I just haven't caught their videos yet. But this man right here, if you're new to sports cards and you want to do some research, just go watch this guy. And I'm going to tell you why. He's been doing YouTube for 11 years, okay? PSA Mail Day, Incredible Mail Day, How to Crack Open a BGS Case, Awesome Mail Day, okay? Video after video. He even gets down with some music, it looks like. Where was that one video at I seen on here? You didn't take that off, did you? Oh, right there, look, he's getting down with some music. Opening some packs, and look at this, 8 years, 7 years. Now, I want to share something else with you. Okay, let's go back up to his newest. Sort by newest. Oh, wait, SGC order reveal. SGC reveal. How many of them are on here? He's got so many videos. Anyway, he does PSA and SGC. There is no bias, right? There's no bias here. You go over here to his Instagram. Let's show this off. You want to talk about making moves in the sports card hobby? Man, look at this. A Ricky Henderson. 550. Oh, wait. That's an SGC. That's an SGC slab. Look at that. a PSA 10 he just got back of a platinum medallion Manning rookie. Okay? $263 on a Fleer Ryan Sandberg rookie. $484. And yes, these are PSA, but look at this. $7,000 on an SGC slab. Wait, and it's not even a 10, guys. On and on, okay? He shares. This man does not... Alico is not an influencer. He is a silent educator, is what I would like to call him, if that makes sense. He's very minimal spoken. He gets his orders back. He'll tell you how long he sent, how long it took. And he shares the cards. He gives his opinion. He gives his opinion on what the grade was. He'll tell you what he thought the grade should have been if it wasn't come back the way it was. And he gives his honest opinion. But this guy, since he's not giving you investment advice or how to flip, doesn't get the talk that the other guys do. You have an OG, and I'm going to tell you, I have learned a ton, whether speaking to Nolan or watching his videos and just seeing things that he sends, seeing his approach. To be completely honest, I have been into cards for a very long time, but I'm not, I started grading in, September or October of 2019. I can't remember which month. I showed you a video of his from 11 years ago. Okay? His videos and his approach at grading is what influenced me. So I'm going to call him an influencer. It influenced me to start researching grading. And that's when it took off. I respect that dude a lot. Like I said, whether you hate or love Sports Card Investor, whether you hate or love Card Collector 2, I would much rather listen to Card Collector 2's opinion, being that dude has, is young and he's built a business and a brand. He has a staff working for him, and his bills are dependent upon sports cards. I would much rather listen to him. I believe what he says about it. I have no reason not to. I just want people to realize, just because a guy has a lot of followers, just because a guy flashes off an $800 card or a $1,000 card, it doesn't always mean he knows what he's doing. All of these cards on the screen, they're vintage. These are all vintage. Okay? I get it. They're all vintage. But I have a handful right here of very nice ultra modern as well. Okay? I have more stacks over here. I have stacks back here, cases down below, stuff in my displays, stuff all over there, and many, 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 many raw cards. All right? But there's one thing that I don't do a lot of. There's one thing I don't do a lot of. I don't really talk about how much I make selling a card. I don't really share the financials. And I don't really say a lot of times, every now and then I will share it, but I don't really say a lot of times of how much I pay for a card. Because sometimes the value shouldn't be all that's focused on. Those cards right there, I probably overpaid on some of them at the time of purchase. But they're awesome cards. And not a damn one of them is a 5 or above. The highest one is 4.5. You know, again, with people thinking that I'm biased, there's also the opinion that, oh, well, you only buy that stuff because, you know, you do group subs and you're making money off of it. No, guys. I don't share publicly all the sales I've made. I don't share the ROI I've made on a lot of cards that I've sold. James has witnessed it. James has been to card shows with me. There, you know, Mile High. He was at a CSA show with us one time. Seen the hustle. I sell cards to buy cards, guys. There's no tricks, no gimmicks, no games, no YouTube revenue, no affiliate links, no sponsorships, no paid advertisements. It is watching guys like Eliteco. It is using knowledge from being in this for, what, since I was 6? So 35 years. Watching patterns, watching trends. There's a lot of stuff that you can do without the need of any single person telling you who you need to buy, which graph is going up, you know, who the hot players are. If you're in sports cards and you don't know who the hot products and players are, I don't really know what to tell you. It's kind of obvious. So, I don't want to be an influencer, guys. I just want to be someone that has fun, makes friends, collects cards, and helps people. You never have to listen to a single thing of suggestions or speculations or opinions or whatever that I say. Never. But if I do say something, then it's simply to try to help someone. And it's not to mislead anybody. And if you don't want to ask on here, feel free to hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. You know, I don't care. I'm willing to talk. If you have a question about anything I've said, again, feel free to hit me up. If you disagree, feel free to hit me up. Okay? Anyway, I just needed to get that out there. I'm not trying to bash anyone. Again, this is more just trying to help people. There's always different sides to the story. And I'm going to give Neo the benefit of the doubt here that his perspective was why he didn't see the SGC sales. His perspective might have had blinders on to only one label. But that was his perspective. So anyway, does anyone have any questions? I haven't even been reading the chat. I've been trying to focus and just let you guys know what I'm thinking. Let me roll back through the chat here. The missus was kind of talking while I was doing it. Rick Moore said, let me ask you this. I'm sure you've seen the videos from other YouTube people saying that PSA is grading harder and inconsistent. I also heard that there were a lot of people mad that PSA was grading at the National instead of taking care of their backlog. Do you think with the amount of people getting upset with PSA, do you think they will fall as top dog anytime soon? Rick, my honest opinion, do I think they will fall as top dog anytime soon? They're too popular right now. Can values shift? Potentially. Will it happen on everything? That I don't know. But they have such a high following. It's going to take pissing off a lot of people. And, will that happen? I don't know. As far as the grading, I have talked to a few people and gave my opinion on this. The grading thing with PSA, I know people are saying they're tougher. I know people was originally thinking it was Jmichelin. To be honest with you, and here is where you can hear I am not biased. When SGC got backed up last year and they were trying to dig out of the backlog, I noticed a shift in the way the grades were going. I had done enough cards with them that I felt confident to when I was judging what to send in. Not necessarily that they would all be 10s, but I knew what I was looking for. And I noticed a shift. And I know a lot of you noticed that shift because of the group submissions. And, y'all would start saying things. Truthfully, I think when a company starts trying to ramp up capacity to get from out and under a backlog, I don't think that they intentionally grade tougher. I think it's more they would rather be criticized or looked upon as being tougher, so they might throw an 8, they might throw a 9, rather than put a card out there in a 10 that, once again, is criticized upon because there was no way in hell it should have been a 10. It's easier to be accepted as being tougher and respected more than they just got out of the backlog because they threw 10s on everything. I think PSA is doing something similar. I think they're being tighter so they aren't taking the criticism. But I also think it has a lot to do with new graders. Think about this. Anytime you've started a new position at work, you want to prove yourself. You're new on the job. You want to make your boss proud. You want to be looked upon as good at your job. Well, you throw a new grader in there with a mountainous pile of cards and say, can we get these done? They're going to want to knock them out quick. I don't know if they have a quota, but they're going to want to impress being new on the job. They also probably are afraid to give 10s. Those cards are supposed to be proofed. They're supposed to be checked by another individual. They're probably afraid to put a 10 on something that may have a defect that the next guy finds and says, hey, there's a surface issue. There's a corner issue. You screwed up. That should have been a 9. That should have been an 8. I think they're somewhat afraid to give the 10. I've seen both sides of it. As you know, we're friends with Platinum. He got back 500 cards, and I believe he said 343 out of the 500 were 10s. It was about 75%. I know it was a lot of Prism, like Prism Optic, the shiny cards. And I'm going to tell you that new stuff, the quality is rough. So to get 75% is really surprising. I know I don't really get to share the grade reveals of his stuff with SGC, but I can assure you he's not pulling 75% 10s with SGC on that stuff. So I've seen both sides. I've seen the people that didn't get hardly any 10s, and then I see a post like that from him where he got 75%. So that's my opinion on it. I think right now, as they're digging out, they're being, I don't want to say tougher, I want to say more cautious with the 10 and potentially the new grader or the new graders trying to look more efficient and accurate with their grading could all be playing a part in it. Let's see. Larry said he subbed to SGC, CSG, and HGA. I like SGC and Vintage and my new Mini and Top CO6, but I still like PSA for most of my long-term PSA or PC. SGC is missing the boat by not having a set registry. Well, here's the thing with that, Larry. A set registry can always be built. And it doesn't only have to be built based upon the cards that are graded from the time it goes into existence till the time, after the registry is created. A registry could be created at any point, and any card out there could be added to that registry. So if having a set registry is the only need for PSA to be worth more, that seems kind of, I don't know. I just think that's kind of silly in my own opinion. I've even put out the suggestion. I really wish I knew how to do this. If there's anybody out there that happens to watch this and is good at creating, I will share my idea more with you. If I can find one. Right here. So I would like for a company to do a universal set registry. I buy BGS slabs. I buy SGC slabs. I buy PSA slabs. I think if we had a universal registry, since so many people put that emphasis on, that's why PSA has control, is the registry. I like many other people, will buy any slab. I only use one company, but I'll buy whatever fits my budget if the card looks correct with the grade. So if it's a registry thing, I would love to see a universal set registry. Personally, I don't want to be held down to sending my cards to PSA to have them in their plastic just to be able to enter them in a registry. I don't see that value in it for me. But if there was a universal, I think it could be fun. I think it could be it could be fun having like the Facebook group and see who could, finish a set. What if a universal registry, you could create a custom registry in there to have, a friendly competition. You could create this little challenging registry that you and your friends could get together and see who could complete. Maybe even score it. That way it's based on a score. If I could find a 9 and afford a 9 in one card, and you could afford a 9 in another card, but, it's all scored, I think it would be a lot of fun. I think it would bring a lot of value to cards and not plastic. I think it would really balance things out. There's so much emphasis now on the plastic over the card that I think something like that, if the registry is the true importance, could really even out the grading game. And maybe that's why PSA won't allow it to happen. Maybe they have some kind of rights or something. I don't know. Let's see. Refractor says, I don't resubmit once I get the grade. It is what it is because I'm a collector, not a flipper. PSA has always been consistent for me. It's about you doing the homework, scrutinize your cards as a grader. And Refractor, you are totally correct on that. And that is one reason that I don't offer to review everyone's cards. You know, I know there's people out there that make good money doing that. I do it for Platinum. But I do it for them because I know they don't have a lot of time to do so, and he sends the cards in top loader, so I have to pull them out anyway. But I don't offer it because I want you guys, when you send us cards, or when you're at a card show and you find a card raw, or if you're looking at a card on eBay, I want the people purchasing those raw cards to have a better knowledge of what to look for before they purchase a card. I think it can save them a lot of money. It can save them from submitting a card they might have thought was pack fresh and it comes back a 6. That's why I don't offer it. I just think the more people review their cards and learn, you know, if you send a card and you get a 6, you say, okay, what was it about that card why I got a 6? The next time, you know, if you see a card with that defect, you'll be like, okay, that was a 6. I don't want it this time. I want to look at this one. You know, so that's why I don't do that. It's just really a method, I think, that helps people with making raw purchase decisions. Carlos says we need all the graders to do subgrades too, even if it doesn't appear on the slab. You should be able to look up the subgrades so you have a better understanding of the overall grade. I somewhat agree, Carlisle. I would, you know, a subgrade is helpful, but the other side to that is something I have noticed is each of the companies, they kind of hold specific subgrades to different standards. So I don't know that you would gain a lot if all of them had subgrades. You might be able to tell which company's holding what subgrade to a higher standard than the other, and then maybe that could even help, you know, that just potentially could help people make a decision on where they want to send a card to. I know, you know, there was a discussion in the group the other day about people with off-centered cards were sending them to PSA because they knew automatically that the centering was off, so SGC wouldn't give them a 10, but they still might fall in line with a PSA 10. I don't go to those measures. If it's a card I don't like, here's a perfect example. So I sent in the field level of this. I sent in the field level Justin Jefferson. I did not send this one because, as you can tell, it's off-centered. Now, I don't know. It would have pulled a 9 with SGC. Could have been an 8.5. It's, you know, it was too off-center for me to send. If it's a card I don't feel like is going to be worth any upside by getting it slabbed, I just don't send it. And all of those, I believe this is what the club level, pretty much all of those are off-centered. And people are still buying them raw because that's a rare card. So I don't send everything to grade. I told y'all there was one order I pulled 27 cards out that I had that I wanted to send in. So anyway. Let's see. That is definitely correct, Jmichelin. He said we need viable options for the hobby. More is better. More is better. But I'm telling you, I don't know how many more new grading companies can come out. I seen 2 new ones yesterday that I'd never heard of either. So I don't know what we're up to now on third-party graders, but it's a load. So James said the products today is crap right out of the packs. That's the problem with all the new shiny stuff. It's not printed. It's not good right out of the packs. A lot of that is definitely truth, James. scratches and surface issues. I have some photos of cards that I just could not believe what they looked like, and one of them was a redemption card straight from Panini. So yeah, I seen that yesterday too, Carlisle. He's talking about HGA is going to start slabbing cards without grading them. I don't quite understand the purpose of that, because if you're going to send the card in and wait and pay a nominal fee over a one touch, I don't know why you just don't pay a few bucks more and just go ahead and have it graded. So I unless it's like a custom card, maybe your kid plays t-ball or little league or youth basketball or youth football, and you have a custom card like that and they'll slab that, that would be cool. Outside of that, for a regular sports card, I don't know the point of having it slabbed. If you're gonna wait and pay, I don't even remember what it costs, but I would just pay and have it graded if I was going to use them. Rick, I honestly have no clue about GMA anymore. You don't hear nothing about them. That was something else I wanted to discuss earlier. So I keep hearing that it's PSA, BGS, SGC. You constantly hear that in videos. But yet, you can go video after video after video, and you either have PSA talk or SGC talk. I don't think I've came across anybody in any recent period of time that was legitimately having a discussion about BGS prices or a BGS return. I don't see them. No videos are ever recommended to me. I don't ever hear of anybody. Jmichelin, I know he sent a couple cards down there on the quick turnaround time when it was like $50 a card. But outside of that, I know Refractor Jones submitted a card there at the National. It was an autographed, a beautiful Kobe Jason Kidd dual auto. And I know he submitted that with BGS, but so little BGS talk, unless it is a $1 million sale of a card that was slabbed 10 freaking years ago or something in a BGS slab, a Kobe, a Jordan auto, a LeBron exquisite, a Trout superfractor, something massive like that. You don't hear any news on BGS. They are like silent. But yet still people want to claim them as number 2. And that's really surprising to me. I guess because they hear about them when those big sales pop up. I don't know, when baseball card collector, investor, dealer does his high rollers and there's BGS slabs on there, they think, oh yeah, BGS is still number 2. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But that surprises me that you still hear it. I mean, even in the Neo video, he said it was 95% PSA BGS. So, but anyway, guys, I just wanted to hop on, talk about it, give my feelings on it, let y'all know that when I am not, when I'm talking about stuff, when I'm talking about SGC, I'm not trying to do the pump and dump or any of that stuff. It has absolutely nothing about being biased. Quite honestly, the cards in my collection, unless, I've already discussed, I'm thinking about getting rid of Ultra Modern. But outside of that, I don't care what that stuff, I don't care what it gets to. I love owning all of that. So there's no need to pump up the company. I'm going to enjoy them, collect them, buy, sell, trade them, just like I have been doing, and continue it. Carlisle, it is a massive, massive, massive. This is a big card, man. It's a big card. It is a massive, authentic. And it's authentic because it's missing the 2 bottom corners. But if I was to hold this card like this, if I was just to hold this like this, you would never know. The color is beautiful. It's very, very well centered. No creasing. And it might be a small one up right here. But overall, the eye appeal, it's beautiful. And it fits my budget. All because somebody took it out of a photo album. So, man, hey. Like I said, I buy what I can afford and love to own. That's the simplicity of it. Hell, I showed y'all this. It has a freaking hole in it. It has a stamp on it. But if I was to hold it like this, y'all be like, damn, Bobbles, that coloring is nice. It's centered. Look at the surface. It's like, damn, that's nice, right? But it has those, so it had that, so I got it cheaper. So I just love owning the cards, guys. The grades, they fit my budget. So, anyway, guys, I appreciate everyone hopping on. I hope this wasn't too negative sounding, because I'm not trying to be all negative and like just calling people out all the time, but when topics are brought to me and multiple times, I figured maybe I should talk about it. Maybe I should just get it out there, give my opinion out there. Maybe people will appreciate it, maybe they won't. But either way, people always say PSA's popular because of people, always talking about them. That's all you ever hear. So guess what? I will be one voice pro SGC. Whether it helps, I don't know, but I will continue sharing information, trying to help you folks out. I'm going to attempt to do more videos. It just gets really busy sometimes. So I do appreciate all of you. I hope this helps people out. Hope people understand the message behind it. And anyway, I hope you all have a great night. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.